But there is something inside each and every one of us. In India, they call it a dharma. And a dharma is really there's a pull, there's a purpose to your life. And each and every one of us, all of us who originated from the same place and will return to the same place. T.S. Eliot said, we shall not cease from exploration. And at the end of all of our exploring will be to return to the place from which we came and to know it for the first time. He was talking about death. I'm talking about getting to that place without having to die. What we call dying while we're alive, dying to the ego, to the part of us that believes in this thing that we call, Muktananda called it the false self. The part of us that becomes aware that we are something other than what we really were intended to be and what we came here to do and what we showed up here for. The first 9 months of your life, from your conception until your birth, you were in a state of complete surrender. There was nothing to do. Everything was handled for you. Whatever it was that handled it, whether you call it God or Spirit or the Tao or consciousness or divine mind, whatever it is, it does nothing. And yet it leaves nothing undone. And there's this complete surrendering process. We have no other choice. We show up here in the Tao Te Ching. Lao Tzu says that all being comes from non-being. Jesus put it the same way. He said, it's the spirit that gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. Quantum physics teaches us one thing, if nothing else, for certain, that particles themselves do not come from particles. That there is something in each and every one of us that is formless, that is boundaryless, that has no beginnings, that has no ends. It's eternal. And it is from that we emerged in some mysterious fashion. In one split second, from non-being to being, from non-particle to particle. And in that split second, everything that you needed for this physical journey was handled for you. And it's the biggest, most incredible miracle that any of us can ever witness, isn't it? And when you contemplate it and think about it, you try to process it, and it's just beyond anything that our meager intellect can handle. I was at the birth of 6 of those children, watched that miracle unfold, and saw that these children not only were a great mystery, but they came here with personalities already intact the moment that they were born. And any of you mothers out there who've had more than one child know exactly what I'm speaking about. Some of them sleep through the night. Some of them stick their tongue out at you the first second they see you. And then when they're 18 and they come home, they do the same damn thing. You know. And this incredible mystery, this place called Spirit, is something that handles everything for us without doing anything. And the moment that we are born, this beautiful little baby comes out and we hold it after we take the mucus out and we cut the little cord and do all the little wiping off and hold this little baby and we look at it and we say, great work, God. Thank you. We'll take over from here. And that was the birth of your false self. This is the time when we take over and we begin to edge God out of the picture and take it over ourselves. Edge God out. E-G-O. We take on this thing called an ego, and it becomes our identification. And all of the great spiritual teachers, whoever they may be, teach us the same thing, that this is not the authentic self. This ego of ours, we begin to believe something that has nothing to do with spirit, that perfection from which we originated, which allowed us to become this perfect little creation. And as we interfere, we take on this false self. And this false self says that who I am is what I have. So we begin to become obsessed by our possessions. And we train our children and ourselves to believe that who I am is what I possess and what I own. And as we take on this belief system that I am what I own, it becomes the very thing that takes us away from our spirit. And then we believe also that this false self of ours believes that we are what we do and what we accomplish. To evaluate our worth as human beings on the basis of how we stack up to others and how we achieve. And then this false self of ours, this ego, tells us that not only are you what you have and what you do, but you are what other people think of you. You're your reputation. And again, we go off on this journey of attempting to get everybody that we encounter to accept the fact that if you like me, then I'm a better person. And so we struggle with things like peer approval and getting other people to like us and evaluating ourselves on the basis of how many awards we win and so on. And then this false self also tells us that we're separate from everybody else, and that we're separate from what's missing in our life. And the most egregious error of this false self is that it teaches us that we are separate from God, that God is something external to ourselves, something that we pray to and we ask for divine guidance from. And we treat this thing that we call God like a cosmic bellboy, asking it for things when we get into trouble and promising to behave. It'll only deliver for us now, as if this God was a withholding God and had the power to heal you or to offer you the abundance that is missing in your life, but it's holding it back so that you'll contribute more to whatever organizations believe they represent God. And it's a false image.